Welcome to Reddit land. Men of Reddit, what are some questions you've always wanted to ask women, but couldn't because it would seem weird? How uncomfortable is it to wear a tampon? How do you know when you have to change it? Do you get some internal sensation that lets you know when it's time to replace it? Do you time it? How do you know? Answer. If you feel tampon after insertion, something is wrong. Rest is trial and error, but you can't wear tampon longer than 8 hours. Most my friends make that 6 or less to be safe. You get used to the regularity of your period and how the flow changes each day. Often the first couple of days are heavier, so changing the tampon more often. There is a particular sensation when it's getting close to the time you need to change it. Hard to describe, but it becomes second nature after practicing. When it's in properly, you don't really feel it. 2. Weird one, but it's been bugging me. For women with pierced nipples, if you get pregnant and start lactating, does the milk also come out through the piercing holes? I'm sorry, since I feel like this might be a bad woman's anatomy sort of question, but it just seems like the milk would come out the sides. It can. Most women take their piercings out because choking hazard, and the piercing hole heals up very quickly. Female comes out of several ducts at the nipple, not just one hole. Yes, it does. I'm on my second pregnancy, and I took out my piercings about 7 weeks into the first pregnancy. The holes are still there, kind of. But I do leak through where the holes used to be. However, it's not like milk pours out of the piercing or anything. The nipple has lots of milk ducts, so it comes out as much on the sides with the holes from the piercings as the rest of the nipple. 3. Do you have crushes on random people you encounter that you don't really see anything developing with? Like someone you see every day but don't really talk to for whatever reason. I don't mean in a creepy way, I mean, like, my barista is insanely hot, and I fantasize about him, even though absolutely nothing is going to happen because of several very important reasons. I assume this happens, but I've always wondered if it's more common with men. Absolutely. This happened to me back in college when I developed a crush on a classmate and daydreamed of dating him. I also have friends who randomly call me about encounters with attractive strangers. Yes. Also sexual crushes on men I sort of know, but would never want to date or actually even sleep with, because of their personality or something, just fun to fantasize. I think one difference from men is it all stays in my head. Unlike what my male friends tell me, I would not actively seek out photos of those people to fantasize about. It's imagination, and it runs the spectrum from someone I would actively fantasize about, and someone I just notice is attractive in passing. Definitely. I almost prefer fantasizing about random people I see on the street or casual acquaintances than people I actually know and interact with regularly. And fantasize can be anything from full-on sexual fantasy with masturbation and the whole 9 yards, to just thinking about spending time with someone. I used to have a crush on this random nurse I used to pass in the hallway all the time. I worked in registration. The only time we spoke was when I occasionally had questions about his patients. Something about him just made me nervous. I would never initiate anything, but it was for sure a fantasy. This may not be the right place to ask this, but I've known this girl for several years. We never really talk much, but recently we've started hanging out a lot more through mutual friends. I should probably mention that I'm quite bad socially. She said that she was honestly surprised that I knew how to make a joke, since I spend so much of my time at sitting in a corner or not saying anything at all. I don't do it because I dislike people or I'm bored, but I just need a breather sometimes. She's really nice and I feel like she kind of understands me. I want to ask her out, but I'm scared that I'm going to do it weirdly and it's going to be horribly awkward afterwards. I also don't want it to be a situation where if she says no, it's going to be weird and we'll have to stop hanging out. I just want to find out whether it's something she would be open to. Any help with how I could go about it along with what I should and shouldn't say would be greatly appreciated. 4. Does someone's job or profession change how attractive you find him? Not the specific job per se, but whether they have passion, dedication or interest in it. I don't care what people do for a living, and sometimes it's cool to hear about their day. But if someone's gonna complain about feeling like they're in a dead-end job, that they're just half-assing every day but won't do anything about the situation, then total turn off. My partner is a tradesman, a labor. I find it hot that he works on site. I could watch him all day. It's a mix of, the work clothes look good on him, the fact he's concentrating hard, and then producing something amazing at the end which makes someone smile equals hot. I can't see him being a CEO, neither does he have the aspiration, but it's okay. He's on minimum wage, but I love him to bits. He does a lot around the house too and supports our little family the best he can. Thing is, I've seen other guys on site, but soon as they speak the hotness kinda fades away. Personality is definitely needed. A bit of banter, but then back to work. So profession doesn't really matter, long as he works hard with good intentions. It's super attractive. As with most things, it depends on the woman honestly. If you're into status, then yes, you would definitely want someone with a high status job. If you plan on not working, same thing. Myself and most of my girlfriends are all career-oriented with advanced degrees in jobs that are high status or high earning/high potential earners. I haven't noticed that it matters as much for my group. We all have partners with interesting jobs and hobbies, but none of us sought men in specific fields of work. And several of us are the breadwinners to spouses with interesting and important, but lower paying jobs. Yes. Naturally, I am more attracted to someone whose job requires higher intellectual capacity. Intelligence is hot in my opinion. 5. Do you randomly get sexually aroused in public for no reason at all like men? And if so, does it die down quickly? Yes, the random arousal depends on the situation how fast it dies down. Sometimes I get randomly horny at work and then just sit there and fantasize about raunchy things. Takes longer to die down that way lol. I guess not as often and as randomly as most men do, but yes, it happens. Although most of the time it's because I'm having horny thoughts for whatever reason. The most unexpected arousal I experienced was when my first boyfriend squeezed my hand very hard in a cinema in the middle of the movie. I was shocked and embarrassed, but got wet instantly lol. Absolutely. But it might not be for the same reasons. My understanding is guys can get horny by seeing a cute figure. I get horny if someone smiles at me or winks at me in a non-creepy way, like if I'm already making eye contact and then he winks as if saying yes. So that's a reason actually. I think if I see something attractive, I get aroused, but that's for a reason, not no reason. Does that answer the question? And no, it doesn't always die down quickly. It dies in accordance with how much thought I give it. 7. Do women prefer men to be open and direct about their intentions when dating, or is there necessity for nuance, subtle signals and such? Like for instance, is it better for men when getting to know a woman they are interested in to say, hey, I like you, I'd love to take you out on a date sometime, versus being nice and kind of playing a game where both parties try to figure out if the other person likes them? Probably not the best wording, but I hope it's clear enough to understand the idea of what I'm asking. Clarity is generally better, although I'm certain there are women out there who prefer the back and forth and trying to figure it out. I'd always prefer it if someone made their intentions clear, that way there's no room for accidentally leading anyone on or missing signals. Depends on the woman. There are plenty who expect a man to be a mind reader, and on other end there are plenty who need everything to be said or it didn't happen. Guys are not only ones who can be oblivious to hinting and subtle cues. I think I prefer indirect because then it establishes more of a connection through flirty behavior, and if the flirty behavior is reciprocated, you can get an idea of whether that person is actually into you or not. After you've figured out you probably like each other, then be direct and ask them out on a date. 8. Do women get the pee shiver? I know sometimes I'll be pissing and there's an uncontrolled shiver as I'm finishing up. Does that happen with women at all? Never happened to me, but hey, apparently to a lot of others. You learn something new every day. Yes. Back when I was cool and went to house shows, there was this punk band called Piss Shivers. I think about them a lot when I get piss shivers. I think they were from Alabama. 9. What can we safely compliment? Are all things related to appearance off limits? I'm not without sufficient imagination about other things to compliment about, but they're mostly situational. You don't walk into the office first thing and say something like, your ideas are game-changing, as a morning greeting the way you might compliment a new haircut. Compliment things that are choices, not things that aren't. This is great advice. I also think it helps to compliment the thing and not the overall effect. So instead of, you look great in those shoes, try, those shoes are awesome. They're not off limits, but it's all about context and phrasing. Here are some good rules of thumb. Compliment what women wear instead of how they wear it. Try mention things they chose and have control over. Don't mention being attracted to something you've complimented them about. Don't compliment someone you work with on their body, it seems like you are hitting on them. Things that are off limits include great legs, that dress fits your body well, you have a cute smile, etc. Can easily come off creepy. Compliment them on something they chose, e.g. that haircut looks cool, I like your earrings, you have a great sense of style, you are always in a happy mood, it brings the energy of the room up, etc. Surely depends on who you are talking to, but I'm happy about a nice, that shirt looks good or something like this. At least for me. Compliments on appearance can be completely fine, but make them on something I have control about. But like I said, this can change completely depending on who you talk to. 10. If you're on your period and swim in the ocean, are you at all worried that you have a little leak and the smell of blood will attract sharks? Because I would be. Edit. I have just learned sharks are not particularly attracted to human blood and can also smell any bodily fluid. We should all be terrified. I've never thought about it, but I personally don't like swimming in any wild body of water which something can attack me from the dark depths. 11. At first glance, what makes you feel low interest in a guy from a physical standpoint? And what makes you start to want him the more you get to know him? What makes you pursue a guy and then pull back? Shallow opinions are welcome. Bad personal hygiene and grooming is an instant turnoff. A nice smile and kind eyes makes me want to engage with him more. Low interest. Bad posture, bad skin. Start to want him more. Maturity, good sense of humor, not being a creep, treats me like I am a human. Hygiene and presentation. Have some pride in yourself. Just because you have a penis doesn't mean we want you, so haircuts, nails clean and low, dental hygiene. Lotion. I've seen guys approaching women with crust in their eyes, ashy lips, just looking beat up. You don't have to have expensive clothes or cars, just take pride in what you do have and we take notice. For me, confidence is huge, not bravado and a big ego. But confident in who you are, your interests, just loving your best life. I pull back when I get to know a person and they are inconsistent and liars. Like the constant little lies about stuff that doesn't need to be lied about. I love a man who does what he says he will do. Big or small, and pays attention to small details. 12. Is there a best way to proposition a woman for meaningless sex without coming off like a desperate dirty old man? Yes, but the most important part isn't the proposition itself, it's reading the situation. Has she responded positively to any playful flirtation? Does she seem comfortable and relaxed with you? Only then should you proposition her. The actual proposition should be straightforward and clear, but also give her room to say no without being pressured. Something like, I feel attracted to you and I really like being around you. But to be transparent, I'm not looking to be in a committed relationship. Would you be interested in exploring some casual fun with me on a no-strings-attached basis? It's okay to say no. I don't want you to feel pressured at all, and your consent is very important to me. If she says yes, great. If she says no, don't take it personally, and stay true to your word. Respect her decision and respect her right to choose. Good luck. 13. How to approach a woman I find attractive without looking like a creep. Every time I want to try something I feel guilty of street harassment and do nothing. Well, if it's on the street, don't. There is a time and place for everything. Streets are where many women feel unsafe, mostly due to catcalling, guys randomly walking with us, etc. So it's really not the time for flirtation. Genuine question, not trying to be rude, what is that time and place? From what I've read, it's mainly don't S than do S. Don't approach outdoors, don't approach at stores/gyms/libraries/ basically any place, don't approach those going about their day, which is basically any activity, etc. What if a guy is just not the type to frequent singles nights at bars? I'm not a girl, but honestly bro, just OBCREEPY, duh. On a real note, try not to approach her from a weird angle, and when you approach her don't do weird shit. Treat her like a normal human who happens to be attractive to you, so don't go up to her like she 100% should be your GF. You don't know anything about her other than she looks good. That being said, you might be nervous, which is totally fine, and sometimes you can even call it out like, hey, I don't do this often, and I'm nervous as fuck, and if she's a decent human she will defo understand it, heck she could be nervous too. Another tip. Watch her body language. Sometimes we have shitty days, and we don't want to speak to anyone. And this goes for rejection too. Don't take it personal. If she rejected you, just say alright, have a good day and keep moving. This is coming from a guy's side though, so I can't be totally certain, but this has so far worked for me, and I don't think I creeped out people.